added to the movie and the mythology. So I might like to do a podcast at some point examining the improvements or the changes made over movies that aren't necessarily intended to have sequels, but you go back and add a sequel to it, how that maybe affects the production of it. So I think that might be something worth checking out.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be interested to hear what your eventually take with Jeepers Creepers 2. I like it better, actually.
Yeah?
Jeepers Creepers 2, I think, so.
Better than the first one, or better if you watched it the second time?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'd always kind of liked Jeepers Creepers 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I mean, I had already knew what the same thing as that, though. I probably hadn't seen it since 2003. But whenever it came out on DVD. So it had been, what is it, over 5 years since I've seen it.
Okay.
And watching it, it's I still think it's stronger than the first one, but I think it does help the first one even more, though, now, knowing the continuation of the story or whatever.
Right.
And a little bit well, I don't know if we're going to get into it part 2. I just had one thing was, it just seems like in the first one, he wasn't near as powerful. And was it maybe because he had 8 more bodies that got stronger?
Maybe. That's a good point. Yeah.
I was just thinking that when I was watching part 2. I was like, wow, he's so much bigger and stronger. Because in the first one, they run him over.
Yeah.
Fairly easily. And there's no way he would have been able to, get hit that way. How powerful he was in part 2.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I hadn't thought about that again until watching it last night when I believe the psychic was talking about the hearts, how many hearts in particular he had eaten. That kind of came up in the first one. So yeah, I think that's a good point. So we'll have to do that sometime soonish and stuff. I got a lot on my plate, a lot of things scheduled here and stuff, but I think I'd like to find time to do that and maybe do maybe a special edition where I don't even where I skip some of the other things that I normally do and just focus maybe on the idea of a sequel and how they affect some movie franchises or becoming a franchise. So at any rate, well, thank you very much for joining me for this one. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I hope you'll come back and join me again.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Have me anytime.
All right.
Check out doodadweb.com. You can find Duncan, Yo-Man, Yo-Yo Jam. They have skill toys for all levels, from beginners, intermediate, or advanced. Whether you're looking for kites, flying discs, yo-yos, ripcord tops, all of your needs can be met at doodadweb.com. Check it out. This Garbage In, Garbage Out section is actually being recorded ahead of time before the rest of the podcast, or rather, well, these things are all kind of filmed or taped out of order. So, again, this episode's probably going long, so I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have, so I'm going to kind of skip through these things. Yeah. So, what did I watch this past week? Amongst other things, I was able to see the Blair Witch Project again. Some people are probably asking why I would put myself through that again, but I was excited and interested to see it again because it's been out for a while and it's been parodied so much that I think a lot of people are forgetting exactly how good that movie actually was. It was the forerunner, or at least I came to know of it as a forerunner to a lot of the Steadicam or the found footage movies, and I think they did a really good job. I think, like I said, a lot of people, I'd hate to think people have let their estimation of that movie fall because it's been so long since they've seen it. Yeah, so definitely give that one a chance. If you're kind of on the fence about it and you don't think it's that good, go back and watch it again. I think you'll find that like me, you'll enjoy it. The other thing that I got a chance to see was Salem's Lot from 2004, and that's the one with Rob Lowe. I really enjoyed it. I think that's one that I may want to do a podcast on a little bit further down the road. Actually, I'd like to get the original one and the 2004 remake and compare the two, I think. And one thing that I did want to insert in there that I didn't like about the 2004 version is them killing off Father Callahan. I don't know how many of you out there really enjoy the works of Stephen King the way I do, but my favorite of his writings is The Dark Tower. Anybody that's read the books that pertain to The Dark Tower probably already know that Father Callahan comes back and plays a huge part in the in the rest of that story. So I was sorry that they made him the villain of this piece and just kind of left him there. That was kind of a bummer for me. And like I said, knowing what I knew about where he goes in the Stephen King universe, it was kind of a bummer to see them write that off. But there's 2 or 3 movies that I could name that they went off on a tangent because it came to the book. Well, I should mention it now. The Dreamcatcher is a good example, or actually Hearts in Atlantis is an even better example. Hearts in Atlantis, the end of that book or those stories actually tied in somewhat with the Gunslinger series, or the Dark Tower series as it's known. And so they didn't know what to do with that in the movie, so they just kind of threw it out and made him a government agent of some sort, and kind of ignored that part of Hearts in Atlantis. The other thing would be in the Dreamcatcher series. I don't want to do a spoiler on that, but I will say that they took that ending and changed it significantly. But anyhow, that's maybe another episode for another time. What I have also watched on TV lately is Fringe, and I want to urge anybody that isn't already checking that show out to definitely look into it. I think I mentioned it before on the podcast, but definitely worth checking out. A lot of interesting theories, some cool stories. If you like H.P. Lovecraft, there's a couple of little squid. Well, it wasn't actually a squid, it was a parasite. But anyhow, that's Fringe is definitely a show that you want to see. Lost has made its return. That was on just the other night, and I was happy to see that coming back strong. And I suppose it's going to be strong simply because it's going to be the final season of that. So I really enjoyed that. So glad to see that's back. That pretty much covers the garbage in, garbage out for now. Like I said, I'm rushing it a bit because I'm sure this episode is going to go long again. So I'll just cut it here.